Have you ever walked into your home and even though everything seemed to be in its place, felt a strange restlessness in the air, as if something invisible was there, silently pushing you towards tiredness, irritation, and lack of focus? What if I told you that what you feel has to do not only with what is happening in your life, but with the space where you live? Your home may be contaminated by negative energy. And no, this isn't some mystical talk or an exaggeration. We're talking about subtle, but powerful signals that your environment is emitting every day, directly influencing your well-being, your mood, and your emotional health. The scariest part? You've probably gotten used to these signals. Discomfort has become part of your routine. The heaviness in the air has become normal, but it shouldn't be. The truth is that your home talks to your mind all the time. Every forgotten object, every piece of furniture out of place, every light that's on too much, or every corner that you avoid has a real impact on how you feel. The energy of your environment shapes your internal energy. And when that environment is out of balance, your mind gets disorganized too. Do you think your anxiety comes only from the rush of the day? What if, in fact, it is being fueled by something much closer to home, like the position of your couch, the excess of objects that have been sitting in the same place for years, or even the repetitive path you take around your house every day? There are invisible patterns that your body has already identified, but that your consciousness has not yet understood. It's as if your home is trying to tell you something, as if it's silently screaming for attention, because the space where you live is not neutral. It absorbs, it transmits, it responds to you, and influences you. And right now, there may be areas of your home that are functioning as true energy sinkholes, draining your motivation, your mental clarity, and even your ability to rest. But here's the kicker. Most people ignore these signs. They think it's normal to be tired, confused, and emotionally unstable. It's not. And the more you neglect the details of your home, the more these symptoms intensify, subtly, quietly, gradually, until you look around and realize that you're living in a space that doesn't nourish you, doesn't inspire you, and doesn't welcome you. And what comes next could completely change the way you see your home, because from now on, we're going to look at your home in a way no one has taught you. We're going to go beyond the walls, beyond the decor, beyond the superficial cleaning. We're going to dive into what's really behind the heavy feeling you get when you walk through the door. You'll discover that there's a logic, real, practical, and transformative, behind the signs your home is giving you. And when you learn to read these signs, everything changes. The way you move around your space, how you organize your thoughts, how you manage your energy. Because the energy of your home is the most intimate reflection of your mind. And if right now, at this very moment, you feel that something needs to change, it's because you've already started to notice it. The first sign has already arrived. And from now on, you'll understand exactly what to watch out for, what to change, and what to avoid. But first, there's something essential that needs to be revealed. Something that's present in absolutely every home, but almost no one notices. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you will see your space with different eyes. And what comes next could be the first step towards recovering the lightness, clarity, and peace that your mind so desperately needs. You come home expecting to relax, take a deep breath, and feel at peace. But what you find is the opposite, an environment that seems to weigh you down, even when everything is clean and organized. It's as if the air itself is denser. Your mind doesn't slow down. Your body doesn't relax. And little by little, this silent discomfort steals your energy without you realizing it. If this sounds familiar, know that you are not alone. Many people feel the same way, experience the same exhaustion without understanding the real cause. And the most common thing is to blame work, traffic, worries. But what if, in fact, what is exhausting you is the place where you should feel most safe? Your home should be a refuge, a place of emotional rest, a silent support for your most difficult days. But if it is misaligned with your energy, if it carries frequencies that no longer belong to you, it begins to sabotage you. And this affects everything: your mood, your productivity, your emotions, even your sleep. The good news? That can change. And the transformation starts today. In this video, you'll learn how to identify hidden signs of imbalance in your environment, signs that go unnoticed but are draining your vitality. And more than that, I'll show You practical, simple, and affordable actions to transform the energy in your home, and with that, renew your mind, your focus, and your well-being. You will learn how small adjustments, in the way you move around your home, in the energetic function of each room, in the choices you made and didn't make, can open space for a new way of living, a living home that talks to you, that strengthens your clarity, that truly welcomes you. Now tell me, honestly, in one word, how does your home make you feel today? Write in the comments. You'll be surprised to see how many people are experiencing the same thing, and how this space can be a support network for those who are seeking more balance. And if you know someone who is always complaining about the environment where they live, share this video now. Sometimes, a small action like this can start a big change. What you're about to see next could completely change the way you see your home, and more importantly, the way you feel inside it. Every detail, every insight will guide you toward an environment that truly sustains, protects, and renews you. So take a deep breath, settle in, and stay with me until the end. Because this transformation has already begun, and it can be much simpler and more powerful than you imagine. Have you ever noticed how, without thinking much, you always choose the same corner of the couch, the same side of the bed, the same place at the table, the same position in your home office? This may seem like a minor detail, a habit without relevance, but in fact, it is silently shaping your energy, your focus, and even your emotional state. The position of your body within your home is an invisible language between you and the environment, a constant exchange where what you feel influences the space, and the space influences what you feel. And the way you position yourself in the environments of your home is defining every day the vibrational field around you. Every home has frequency zones, spaces with their own vibration that change depending on how you occupy them. And each place you choose to stay frequently becomes a kind of energetic anchor. The repetition of the body in the same point of space creates a field. If you always sit in a dark corner, away from natural light, with your back to the door, that spot will carry and reflect exactly that pattern: withdrawal, introspection, a feeling of constant defense. On the other hand, when you position yourself in an airy place, facing the window where the sun shines in and the air circulates gently, you activate another frequency: expansion, clarity, well-being. The energy of your home reacts to your presence, but it can also shape it. When you spend a lot of time in a space that vibrates at a dense frequency, without light or renewal, your body responds with fatigue, your mind responds with confusion, and your emotions begin to contract. This is one of the reasons why you may feel more irritable in certain corners of the house and calmer in others, even without being able to explain why. It is no coincidence. It is an energetic field, and the positioning of your body is one of the main activators of this field. So pay attention to how you position yourself in your surroundings. Do you sit facing the entrance or with your back to it? Do you let natural light touch your skin, or do you hide in the darkest corners? Is the position you occupy energizing you or holding you back? There is a direct impact between where you rest and the state of your mind. Therefore, starting to consciously observe where and how you position yourself within your home is a fundamental step towards restoring balance, clarity, and inner connection. Many people get used to settling in places that, energetically, already carry difficult emotional memories. That corner where you always sit to work and feel tired. That chair where you used to have arguments. The side of the bed where you used to sleep with someone who is no longer part of your life. Each space stores memories, vibrations, stories, and the body, by continually returning to these points, comes into contact with these charges, even if the conscious mind does not realize it. This is why, even in a clean and visually pleasing environment, you can feel discomfort, because the vibration of the place still carries an unresolved density. When you choose new positions, change your routine of staying in the environment, you make room for new frequencies too. Settle in. Something changes inside you. Sit next to a window. Allow yourself to receive sunlight in the morning. Change sides of the bed for a week. Try having your meals in another part of the house. These small changes displace repetitive patterns and activate new energy flows. Your home responds. So does your mind. The position of your body also defines your relationship with the direction of the environment. Always having your back to doors or passages, for example, instinctively activates a sense of alert in the brain. Even if you don't realize it, your nervous system goes into vigilance mode. The flow of energy from the environment reaches your back, and this reduces your sense of security. However, when you are facing entrances, sources of light, or elements that welcome you visually, such as plants, inspiring paintings, open windows, the sensation changes completely. Your system interprets this as a protective field. The body relaxes, the mind opens, and creativity flows. This is the subtle beauty of environmental psychology. It reveals how every daily gesture, even where you sit, carries an energetic intention, and the home, like a living field, directly responds to this response. If you spend the whole day working in a dark, closed corner, with the artificial light on and your back to the room, it is natural for your mental energy to become exhausted. This positioning creates a field of blockage. Energy does not circulate, the body does not breathe, and the mind finds no outlet. When you realize this, you gain an extraordinary power. The power to reposition your energy with small gestures, changing the position of your chair, turning your desk so that it receives natural light, consciously choosing where to rest your body, creating new zones for staying in your surroundings. All of this transforms the way you feel. And that's when your home starts to contribute to your well-being. It stops being a space of wear and tear and becomes an ally for your inner balance. This awareness of positioning also extends to moments of rest, the place where you lie down to read a book, the spot in the house where you like to be in silence, the chair where you drink your coffee in the morning. All of these choices position not only your body, but also your emotional state. They shape your mood, your vital energy, and the way you start or end your day. Therefore, paying close attention to these habits can reveal a lot about what is out of alignment between you and your home. That couch you fall asleep on every night without realizing it could be draining you. The table where you always sit down to eat in a hurry, facing the TV, could be triggering feelings of anxiety. The corner of the house you avoid may be loaded with a memory that still pulsates in your vibrational field. When you reposition your body, you reorganize your frequency. And all of this can be done with simple, almost imperceptible, but profoundly transformative gestures. The energy of the environment is updated when you move consciously. You can reprogram your relationship with spaces without having to change furniture or remodel rooms. The change begins with positioning, with choosing where to rest your feet, where to lean your body, where to allow silence to find you. When you observe yourself in the spaces of your home, you also begin to see yourself more clearly, and this perception is the first step towards transforming the environment into a true mirror of your inner peace. Your body feels the vibration of the space, even before your mind processes it, and when you learn to position your energy intelligently, the house responds with welcome, lightness, and presence. It is at this point that the home stops being a setting and becomes a healing space, a space that aligns with your essence, that respects your sensitivity, that speaks to your silence. And this change begins with a simple repositioning, because the way you occupy the space is also the way you occupy your life. And from this understanding, it is possible to deepen this connection even further, because beyond the physical position, there is an invisible flow that forms in the paths you take every day inside your home, and it has much more impact than you imagine. Every time you choose a place to sit, rest, or reflect in your home, you make a powerful, energetic decision. The positioning of your body directly influences the flow of your mind, the rhythm of your emotions, and the atmosphere of your home. This awareness completely transforms the way you relate to the space where you live, and this transformation has already begun. Now, everything takes on a new meaning, because in addition to the place where you position yourself, there is also the path you take every day, the routes your feet repeat, the detours you take without realizing it, the passages you avoid or ignore. All of this reveals how your energy moves in the environment and how much it is aligned with the life you want to live. Your home has already begun to reveal itself as it truly is, a living, sensitive field in constant exchange with your presence. Each gesture, each choice, each look connects with the energy of the space and creates a direct reflection of your internal reality. The environment speaks, and from the moment you learn to listen, you also learn to adjust. The truth is that this channel is here for this, to expand your perception, show you new layers of your home, and help you create a home that welcomes, strengthens, and boosts what is most essential in you. The content you find here guides you with clarity and depth on a practical journey of real transformation, because your home needs to vibrate at the same frequency as your well-being. Keep moving forward on this journey. What follows will show you how to transform the invisible paths of your daily life into paths of lightness, presence, and clarity. Your home has much more to say, and each new video reveals a detail that transforms the whole. Subscribe to the channel now and walk together in this transformation, because the home where you live is ready to accompany you in this new vibration, and here you will find the keys to unlock this energy. You walk around your house every day, repeating the same paths, touching the same floor with your feet, but you still haven't realized how much of yourself that floor carries. The floor of your house is the largest receiver of emotional energy that exists within a space. It receives everything, every tear that fell in silence, every step taken with contained anger, every exhaustion felt at the end of a difficult day. Everything that happens emotionally in the space where you live ends up depositing itself, invisibly, on the floor. The body feels it, the mind records it, and the environment absorbs it. This is one of the deepest layers of the home's energy, and one of the least observed. Each room in the house has its own vibrational field, and the floor is the densest point, the one most connected to retention. When intense emotions manifest themselves, such as fights, arguments, moments of loneliness, frustration, or fear, they tend to concentrate in the lower part of the room. It is as if the emotional density is naturally pulled downwards, accumulating in layers that, over time, begin to weigh down the subtle field of the house. This accumulation is real, constant, and silent, and you notice it when you start to feel heavier in certain environments without logical explanation. When the body resists staying too long in a specific room, when the mind goes into a state of alert, even within the home itself. The materials used to make up the floor directly influence the way in which this energy is absorbed or transformed. A cold floor, for example, intensifies the feeling of emotional isolation. It retains the vibration of dense silence, chronic fatigue, and emotional coldness that often starts out small, but gradually sets in. And on the other hand, a floor made of wood or natural materials, such as stone, clay, or even certain types of more rustic ceramics, favors the exchange of energy with the earth, grounding feelings and creating a more stable and welcoming sensation. The human body responds immediately to the touch of these surfaces, and this contact even influences the rhythm of breathing, the way thoughts are organized, and the way you feel when you are there. Rugs also carry an intense energetic role. They are elements that accumulate not only dust, but also repressed emotional vibrations. An old rug, which has witnessed difficult times, which has remained untouched in moments of pain or loneliness, holds this vibrational memory in its fibers. Contrary to what it may seem, a rug does not always bring comfort. In many cases, it concentrates the density of what has not been expressed, creating points of energetic retention. Therefore, it is essential to notice how you feel when touching, sitting on, or walking on these elements. A rug can be both a portal of welcome or an emotional trap. It all depends on the vibrational history it carries. The floor of a bedroom, for example, can absorb the energy of sleepless nights, repetitive thoughts, and silent insomnia. The space next to the bed where you rest also receives, daily, the emotional residue of your tired body, your agitated mind, and your trapped dreams. The body rests, but the energy does not dissolve on its own. It descends, settles, and creates an atmosphere that is reinforced each night. In spaces such as the living room, the floor concentrates the energy of encounters, conversations, family tensions, and hours spent watching television and distractions. Every step filled with expectation, every expression of impatience, every gesture of emotional escape echoes there. And this repetition creates an energetic memory that shapes the general state of the environment. There is also the kitchen floor, where emotions mix with the rhythm of nutrition. There, your feet touch the base of a space that directly influences the way you eat, take care of your body, and welcome others. In moments of rushing, tiredness, or neglect of your own routine, this environment absorbs the vibrational imbalance and returns it in the form of dispersion, a feeling of disorganization, or even loss of appetite. The floor accumulates not only physical remains, but also emotional fragments of all these daily gestures. Recognizing that the floor of your home is involved in this exchange is opening your eyes to a dimension of the energy of the environment that few people access. It is the basis of everything. It is the field where you step, where you start from, and where, without realizing it, you leave parts of yourself every day. The way you walk, the way your feet touch this ground, the presence or absence of attention in this gesture shapes the general vibration of the home. A hurried, automatic, tense walk spreads this same frequency throughout the space. A light, present walk, connected to the moment, transforms this field into something restorative. This observation also directly connects to how you deal with the physical cleaning of the floor. The act of sweeping, mopping, and making room for the floor to breathe goes beyond aesthetics. It is a way of dissolving emotional residue that the body has deposited there. Every conscious cleaning is an energetic cleansing, and when you combine intention with action, you activate the process of release. A house where the floor is cleaned with presence carries a lightness that can be felt in the air, in the silence, and in the way the space welcomes you. Therefore, what seems like just the floor is actually the greatest mirror of your emotional routine. It holds your energetic history, your unexpressed tensions, your presence, or lack thereof. And the more awareness you place on this aspect, the more capacity you develop to transform the subtle field of your home. Just touch the floor with attention. Walk with more presence. Observe the points where you feel heavier. There is a living language happening beneath your feet, and it carries precious answers about your emotional state, about what your home is absorbing, and about what it is trying to show you. This invisible dimension that begins on the floor connects with everything that follows, because once the emotional basis of the environment is observed and understood, it becomes much clearer to perceive the impacts that the house has on your internal rhythm. And by taking this next step, you begin to see that the environment around you is shaping not only your emotions, but the way you think, decide, act, and connect with the world. Sometimes all your body wants to do is hit the ground and breathe. But when this ground carries an ancient weight, kept in silence, even rest becomes tiredness. Many steps remained there. Many emotions came down and were absorbed without being noticed. And when this subtle call begins to vibrate beneath your feet, the mind awakens, the body becomes aware, and the energy of the house begins to move differently. The environment begins to reveal signs that were previously hidden. The floor of your home shows that it holds memories, tensions, interrupted gestures. It speaks of everything that was experienced there. Each forgotten part of your emotions becomes a point of energy retention. And now that this is clear, the change also begins. Because this base that previously seemed immobile begins to breathe with you. You just have to allow it. Leave this on record. Put the phrase in the comments. My ground breathes. This statement is powerful. It acknowledges the beginning of a new phase in the energy of your home. Writing these words activates a conscious intention. The vibration changes as you give form to this new understanding. And each comment with this phrase strengthens this silent web of transformation that we are building, together, house by house, step by step, word by word. As the day begins to darken and the silence of the house begins to settle in, a new energy enters the scene, that of artificial light. Without realizing it, the transition between natural light and nighttime lighting reveals a lot about the vibration of your environment, and most importantly, about the state of your mind. It is at this moment that the body needs to slow down, the emotional field seeks rest, and the energy of the environment needs to keep up with this rhythm. But what happens in many homes is exactly the opposite. When artificial lights come on, what should be an invitation to retreat turns into excessive stimulation. A silent vibrational noise begins to interfere with something essential, your internal balance. The energy of lighting at night goes far beyond aesthetics. It goes beyond making your home beautiful, bright, and modern. The type of light you turn on after the sun goes down has the power to reorganize, or mess up, your vibrational frequency. The color of the light, its intensity, the way it spreads throughout the room, all of this has a direct impact on your nervous system, your hormone production, and most importantly, the way you access deep rest. Cold, intense white light continues to activate your brain in a state of alert that compromises the quality of your sleep, your presence, and your connection with the moment of seclusion that your home requires at this time. Melatonin, a hormone, essential for regulating sleep and the body's natural cycle, clashes with this type of lighting. The body understands that it is still daytime, that it needs to produce, think, and accelerate. And the mind, conditioned by this stimulus, does not find the space it needs to be silent. This results in states of nocturnal agitation, difficulty relaxing, thoughts that repeat themselves in a loop, and a constant feeling that rest is never complete. This is what is called vibrational insomnia, a subtle, constant, and cumulative disturbance that begins with light, but reverberates throughout your entire energy field. Cold white lights keep the environment in a state of stimulation. They were designed for offices, clinics, and environments that require full attention and focus. When these same lights are placed in the bedroom, living room, or hallways of the house at night, they create a dissonance with what the body needs at that moment: rest, comfort, and serenity. The house is filled with an artificial glow that breaks the connection with the natural night cycle. And when this habit is repeated day after day, the energy of the home begins to vibrate out of step with its purpose. The environment stops being a place of rest and starts being an interference. On the other hand, warm, yellowish, soft lighting encourages seclusion. It speaks to the vibration of the night. It invites the mind to be silent, the body to relax, and the emotions to rest. Indirect lighting, soft focus, lamps, candles, small lamps strategically positioned. All of this transforms the vibration of the space without requiring any major structural changes. It is an adjustment that calms, reorganizes, and realigns the rhythm of the home with that of your breathing. In addition to color, the arrangement of light also directly affects the energy of the environment. High, centralized, and overexposed lights create an atmosphere of control, of tension, as if everything needs to be illuminated all the time. Lower, directional lighting, with points of shadow and contrast, allows the eyes to rest, creates zones of stillness. It allows the home to embrace, rather than demand active presence. The energy changes, the vibrational field stabilizes, and the mind begins to enter a state of preparation for true rest. Observing the lighting in your home at night is also an invitation to notice how you are treating yourself at this time. The type of light you choose reveals a lot about how much you are respecting your own cycles. A light that is too strong, at a time when your body is asking for softness, is a way of silently attacking your balance. On the other hand, consciously choosing a softer light is an act of vibrational self-care. It is a message that you send to your energy field. Now is the time to collect, restore, and renew. Artificial lighting has power. It shapes the energy of the environment in a way that few other elements can do. And when you start to adjust this aspect of your home, you realize how small changes can have a big impact on your mood, your quality of sleep, your mood when you wake up, and most importantly, your sense of belonging to the space in which you live. Your home starts to collaborate with your internal cycle, and what once seemed like noise becomes nourishing silence. The energy of lighting also influences your thoughts. Aggressively lit environments at night encourage mental repetition, excessive reflection, and unfocused acceleration. The mind tries to organize the day while the body wants to stop, and this energetic conflict generates exhaustion. On the other hand, environments that respect the dark, that welcome the shadows and work with soft lights, stimulate a sense of presence. One thought at a time, one breath at a time, a true surrender to the moment. This perception also extends to the way you connect with your emotions at night. Lighting can either create a welcoming atmosphere, where you feel safe to express yourself, or it can create a cold scenario, where everything seems distant and superficial. By adjusting the light, you adjust the scenario for what really needs to happen at night, the integration of the experiences lived during the day, and the vibrational preparation for what will come with the new cycle. And in this space of more sensitive perception, the house is transformed, not just visually, but in the subtle realm. The light begins to guide your feelings, your thoughts, your body. It stops being an automatic tool and becomes a language. A silent code that, when used well, helps clear the mind, relieve tension, and nourish the soul. The night ceases to be an extension of the day and returns to being what it should always be, the moment when everything turns inward, when energy gathers, when presence deepens. Artificial lighting at night is one of the most impactful and least noticed aspects of a room's energy. But from the moment this point is illuminated from within, the entire house begins to breathe differently. And what follows shows how these details, when looked at carefully, reveal the true emotional language of your home, the one that is being spoken all the time, even when the lights are out. When the light in your home starts to speak the same language as your body, everything changes. The brightness that used to keep you alert starts to transform into a welcoming light. Night stops being an extension of the day and goes back to being what it is by nature, a time of retreat, of vibrational silence, of inner care. This change has already begun, in the closer look at the light bulbs, in the choice of warmer tones, in the presence before the simple act of turning on the light. The vibration of your home is already reorganizing itself. This more subtle, more intimate perception has already touched your way of inhabiting the space. And liking this video is more than a gesture of support. It is the silent confirmation that this new energy is taking hold. Each like is a spark that expands this awareness, that transforms this journey into something bigger, that reaches other homes, other people who are also ready to see their own home with different eyes. This choice you have made now, to look at the lighting with more intention, is already reverberating, and the simple act of touching that button shows that you are creating a home that is more alive, more present, more connected to the energy that truly supports your well-being. The light has changed, and everything around you begins to follow that same frequency. In every corner of your home, there are objects that no longer have a practical function, but continue to occupy a silent space, not only physically, but also vibrationally. They remain there, motionless, inactive, but carrying stories, memories, connections, and frequencies that are still present in your energy field. The energy of that which you have not used for a long time begins to act in a subtle but powerful way, directly interfering with your vitality, your focus, and even the flow of your life. These stationary objects act as emotional anchors. They fix pieces of experiences in the environment that should have already been processed and released. A locked closet with clothes from a phase that has already passed, a box with papers that no one reads anymore, books that were important, but that now just gather dust. All of these elements are active on the vibrational plane. They send a silent message to your unconscious that something is still stuck, that something needs to be resolved, that you still carry the weight of who you were, even if you have already changed inside. Gifts kept out of regret, objects that came from people who marked your history but are no longer part of your life, inherited items that were never really yours. All of these things vibrate, and this vibration directly interferes with the way your home communicates with you. A stagnant energy begins to spread throughout the rooms, creating blockages that you feel without being able to explain. A tiredness for no reason, a slight but constant confusion, a difficulty in clearing your thoughts, or feeling light in your own space. This happens because stagnant things pull your attention to the past, and everything that pulls you back holds back the most precious thing you have, your vital energy. This vital energy is what drives action, clarity, and the drive for change. When it starts to disperse through objects that no longer make sense, you start to feel disconnected from your own home. It's as if the environment stops reflecting who you are today and continues to mirror who you once were. And this disconnect creates an invisible tension between you and the space that shelters you. The house stops being an extension of your current presence and starts to become a museum of what has already happened. Every time you walk past a closet and choose to ignore what's inside, a part of your energy contracts. Your body feels it. Your mind registers it. Even if you haven't opened those drawers in months, they continue to emit vibrational information around you. Your unconscious notices it, and it begins to shape your behavior based on this subtle accumulation. Postponing decisions, maintaining relationships out of inertia, repeating emotional patterns that should have been overcome by now. All of this is fueled by the energy of the things you hold on to out of habit, out of memory, out of fear of letting go. Releasing these objects is not just a gesture of organization. It is a profound process of energetic cleansing. When you choose to look at what has stopped being useful, but was still being held, you are telling the universe and your home that you are ready to live in the present, ready to update the vibration of your environment and align your home with the current version of yourself. This gesture opens up space, physically, emotionally, vibrationally. The air circulates differently. Light enters more easily. Energy begins to flow lightly, and this lightness also settles within you. These objects often carry an intense emotional charge, a dress that belonged to a special moment, but now causes discomfort when touched. A gift given in a relationship that has already ended, but still occupies a prominent place on the shelf. A notebook that no longer matches your thoughts, but remains as a reminder of a former version of you. These elements create invisible bonds. And every time you ignore them, you strengthen this energetic thread that ties you to a cycle that has already ended. Your home feels this and responds. A room that seems more stuffy, a corner you avoid, a feeling of not belonging in a space that should welcome you. All of this arises from the vibrational frequency accumulated in these inactive objects. And as you become more aware of these silent presences, you also develop a new sensitivity to what really needs to remain. Allowing yourself to review what is stagnant is an act of reconnecting with the energy of the present. It is a gesture of respect for your own trajectory. Each thing you consciously let go of makes room for the new, for that which vibrates in tune with who you have become, and the house responds immediately. The feeling of lightness appears even before the space is completely empty, because the decision to let go is, in itself, a powerful vibrational movement. This process also activates a new type of relationship with your environment. You begin to choose with more intention what goes in, what stays, what represents your current energy. And when each object in your home begins to reflect this inner truth, the overall vibration of the space transforms. Your home becomes a field of presence, a clean mirror of your clarity, a real energetic support for your routine, your choices, and your dreams. And even that which still needs to remain for some time can be repositioned with a new intention, an item stored with love, with meaning, with a true emotional function, occupies the space with energetic dignity. It contributes to the vibration of the home. It integrates. However, that which is there only out of habit, out of fear of missing it, out of guilt or attachment to the past, weighs. And it weighs not only on the environment, it weighs on your field, on your emotions, on your expansion. Every decision to keep or let go of something in your home is a healing movement, a conscious act of vibrational alignment. And this choice can be made every day, in small gestures, in attentive glances, in silent pauses in front of forgotten cabinets, boxes, and drawers. The movement begins physically, but reaches the emotional, mental, and energetic levels. The home responds, the soul is grateful, and the present finally begins to settle in, because the energy of your home has already understood that you are ready to vibrate in the now, and what comes next will further deepen this harmony between you and the space where your life takes place. The house where you live is not just a physical shelter. It is, in a much deeper sense, a living extension of your own protective field. There is an invisible link between your energetic state and the way the space around you responds, holds, and amplifies your intentions, your emotions, and your silences. The house creates a field, and this field needs to be intact for your personal energy to remain firm, clear, and stable. When this field begins to break down, even if only subtly, you feel it directly. Accumulated fatigue, thoughts that get out of control, a feeling of discouragement when staying in the same space for too long. These ruptures occur due to faults that go unnoticed by the eye, but which strongly interfere with the vibration of the space. The so-called energy leaks appear in physical points of the house that seem small, but which have a profound impact on the subtle field. A window that is always closed impedes the natural cycle of energy renewal. It creates an invisible accumulation of density, retains stagnant emotions, and prevents the air from circulating fluidly. This causes a feeling of suffocation, as if breathing were becoming shorter, even without physical effort. The mind perceives the blockage. The body reacts slowly. The emotional response is oscillating. Cracks in the walls, cracks in the ceiling, and small crevices in the corners of rooms also act as channels for vibrational leakage. The vital energy that circulates through spaces finds a route of dispersion at these points. These are physical cracks that reveal cracks in the field. When these types of details accumulate throughout the house, you begin to feel a continuous drain of your inner strength. It is as if something is escaping all the time, even when everything seems calm. Vitality slowly fades. Focus loses strength. Ideas lose shape. Stagnation gains ground. And there are also elements that, although they are part of the aesthetics of the home, when poorly positioned, completely unbalance the flow of energy in the space. Mirrors, for example, act as vibrational amplifiers. They reflect what is around them, duplicate information, and create subtle projections within the space. A mirror placed facing the front door reflects the energy that arrives. It prevents the house from receiving it deeply. On the other hand, a mirror reflecting a corner of the house where there is accumulation, disorganization, or shadow replicates this field throughout the space. The energy is fragmented, clarity is lost, the feeling of presence disappears. The integrity of your protective field begins with attention to detail. Every spot in your home that shows signs of wear, buildup, or obstruction vibrates with an energetic message, and this message speaks directly to your personal field. A marked, uncared-for wall conveys the idea of neglect. A creaky door, a loose doorknob, a light fixture that flickers softly in the background. All of these shape the subtle experience of being in your home, and when these elements are neglected, your home's field weakens. It ceases to protect you, and you begin to feel more emotionally exposed, more mentally vulnerable, more physically fragile. The house needs to breathe. It needs to circulate. It needs to maintain a constant flow between what comes in, what stays in, and what goes out. A space that retains everything, light, air, emotions, memories, becomes a heavy environment, without vitality, without the capacity for renewal. A space that disperses energy all the time also loses its axis, loses its capacity to contain, to welcome, to nourish. Balance lies in the conscious flow, in keeping the natural pathways of entry and exit open, but closing off what is leaking out due to negligence, carelessness, or disconnection. Doors that remain ajar all the time, even when they have no function. Drawers that are never opened, but are full of useless objects. Curtains that block out the light unnecessarily, creating shadows where there should be life. Each of these elements interferes with the protective field of the home, and by reorganizing these details with presence, you begin to seal your energy, contain your strength, maintain your clarity. The house begins to function as a filter. It holds what nourishes you. It returns what has already fulfilled its role. It protects what is under construction. The field of your home is strengthened through intention. Every adjustment, no matter how small, has a direct impact on your well-being. A mirror that is repositioned, a crack that is carefully sealed, a window that is opened during the first rays of the day, a cleaning done with attention to silence. All of this builds a denser, firmer vibrational field that is more aligned with your personal energy. Protection no longer depends solely on walls and locks. It becomes felt, experienced, and sustained by a frequency that begins within and extends outward. This field also responds to conscious presence. The more you inhabit your home with intention, the more it responds. The home senses when it is used as a temporary shelter, and when it is treated as an extension of your emotional body. When you awaken to this, you create an energetic partnership with the space. It becomes a mirror of your sensitivity, a guardian of your choices, and an amplifier of your peace. And the more attention you pay to these small points, windows, doors, mirrors, cracks, forgotten corners, the more you strengthen the invisible link that connects your personal energy to the vibration of your home. It's a subtle but profound process, a silent work of vibrational stitching, and with each point repaired, each detail reorganized, you feel the difference in your body, mind, and emotions. The house once again contains, once again sustains, once again becomes the field where you rest with truth and walk with presence. And it is in this vibration, already underway, that the next movement begins, the one in which each environment begins to have its own emotional behavior, revealing what needs to be healed, activated, or transformed. When your home truly begins to protect you, something within you aligns. The environment becomes silent, your body relaxes, and even your thoughts slow down. The energy that was once lost in the corners now remains, circulates, and nourishes. And all of this was activated by a simple, attentive look. Each window opened with intention, each mirror repositioned with awareness, each crack repaired with care, transformed the space, and with it, also transformed your vibrational state. This change is already underway. It started within you, but it has the strength to expand. And the most beautiful expansion happens when it is shared, because what reached you with meaning can now reach someone else with the same impact. Sharing this video is much more than spreading information. It is planting a presence in other homes. It is bringing clarity to those who still live surrounded by invisible noise. It is participating in a silent, but powerful, movement of collective vibrational transformation. You have already experienced in practice how the house speaks, guards, and protects. Now, more people can hear this same language and rediscover the lost balance between body, mind, and the space where they live. And it all starts with a simple gesture, letting this message spread. Because when a house transforms, it inspires another, and another, and another, until the entire world begins to vibrate with greater awareness, one home at a time. There is a subtle but deeply active field that lives in every room of your home. It is as if each room carries its own personality, an energetic temperament that has formed over time, shaped by the habits you have cultivated, the emotional states you have experienced there, the intentions you have placed in each gesture when occupying that space. The house vibrates in layers, and each of them has its own emotional signature. There are rooms that welcome you the moment you enter, others that seem to drain your energy without explanation. Some inspire focus and movement, others call for silence, introspection, pause. This difference between environments is not accidental. It is a direct result of the way you relate to them and how you have programmed them energetically. Each activity you repeat, each emotion you feel frequently in a given space, all of this builds a frequency that settles in the subtle field of that place, and this frequency begins to act as a kind of emotional behavior of the environment. You enter and feel it, even without understanding why. A room where you are always in a hurry, where you dress in a hurry, where you live in a hurry, carries the vibration of accelerated movement. There, your body goes into a state of alert, your breathing becomes shorter, your thoughts become more linear, more focused on action than presence. This environment starts to push you towards productivity, even when all you wanted was rest. And the opposite also happens. A space where you always relax, where you read in silence, where you allow time to dissolve, becomes a sanctuary of deceleration. When you enter there, your energy drops, your mind quiets down, your body slows down. This vibrational dynamic becomes even clearer when you start to observe how you feel when you walk around your home. There are places where the light enters more softly. The sound of the environment creates a feeling of comfort, and the objects around you seem to embrace you with the history they carry. These spaces become zones of emotional welcome. They are the places where the mind finds shelter, where the heart feels safe to open up, where the body finds the gesture of pause. Creating environments like these is a way to protect yourself energetically and also to nourish yourself daily with positive emotional frequency. On the other hand, there are rooms that feel charged, even after being cleaned. Rooms where difficult conversations have happened repeatedly, where loneliness was felt intensely, where emotional disorder has been present for a long time. These rooms maintain the vibrational memory of these episodes, and even without repeating the same experiences, you feel similar sensations every time you enter them. This happens because the space retains the vibration it received. It becomes a mirror of the predominant emotional pattern that was experienced there. And for this field to be updated, more than physical organization is needed. It is necessary to energetically reprogram that room. Reprogramming means, first, identifying the predominant energetic behavior of each environment, observing how the body reacts upon entering, how the mind behaves, and what emotions arise spontaneously. Then, the process of transformation begins. A new intention needs to be activated there. For example, transforming an environment, marked by tension into a welcoming zone, can begin with small changes. The way the light enters, the decorative elements that transmit tranquility, soft aromas, sounds that evoke calm. These elements act directly on the subtle field, reorganizing the frequencies that vibrate there. Similarly, a room that has become heavy due to lack of use can be activated as a zone of introspection, a space for internal retreat, a chair positioned next to a window, a living plant that responds to the light, an object that represents your connection with the present. The repetition of conscious presence transforms this environment. The energy begins to move, and over time, that space becomes a place where your mind finds rest, where your emotions settle, where you reconnect with your own inner listening. Environments focused on focus and movement require a different type of attention. The vibration of these spaces needs to be firmer, more organized, and clearer. more defined colors, functional, furniture arrangement, strategic lighting, sounds that drive and inspire. In these environments, your presence must be active, your mind focused, and your body awake. The frequency you activate in these spaces prepares you to act with more intentionality, without distraction. They support your projects, your expression, and your ability to bring ideas to fruition. This vibrational differentiation of the environments transforms the entire dynamics of the house. You start to move through spaces that collaborate with what you need at that moment. You enter a room and feel welcomed. You go to another and activate your productive presence. You seek a third and find the introspection that recharges so much. The house becomes an ally. It starts to offer, in every corner, an available emotion, an emotional state that you yourself chose to cultivate in that space. And this choice can be made every day. A room does not need to maintain the same vibration forever. Just as you change, your home changes with you. Each time a new intention is placed in a space, it begins to respond. It listens and begins to vibrate at a different frequency. A living home is one that breathes along with your transformation, one that adapts, that welcomes, that truly reflects your most current inner state. Creating these emotional zones allows your routine to be guided by healthier and more conscious energetic states. There are no more neutral spaces. Each corner has a vibrational function, an emotional signature that actively participates in your well-being. You start living in a home that accompanies you emotionally, mentally, and energetically. A home where each room knows its role, supports your presence, and collaborates with your journey. And from this new level of connection, the next step becomes clear. Observing how your own movement through these rooms reinforces, or blocks, these emotional behaviors. Because the path you take inside your home also tells a story about your energy. The body moves around the house with an invisible map that the mind rarely perceives. Each repeated step, each habitual detour, each turn for no apparent reason forms energetic trails that reveal exactly how your energy circulates in this space, and more deeply, how your energy circulates within you. The path you take within your home is not just a physical routine, it is a concrete expression of your vibration. It is a silent script that shows where your energy finds fluidity, where it gets stuck, where it repeats itself, where it avoids itself. The way you move around your home reveals hidden patterns that underpin much of what you feel on a daily basis. The environment guides your body along paths that have been traced over time, and your unconscious mind records each one of them. When your home forces you to take turns to get where you want to go, when you always have to go around something to access a room, when there is a piece of furniture or a wall that restricts your steps, all of this creates an energetic memory. It is as if the space draws labyrinths where there should be fluidity, and these labyrinths do not only influence locomotion, they shape the way your mind deals with decisions, challenges, and feelings. A tortuous path through the environment usually corresponds to blocked internal processes. The difficulty in accessing a specific room can reflect the difficulty in accessing a part of oneself. A constant detour, always going around the same object, repeats the metaphor of avoiding what needs to be faced. The body already knows. It anticipates the movement. It executes the pattern. And each time this movement is repeated, the vibration of the environment strengthens in that path, like an energetic road that takes you through the same places, internal and external. Even when there are other possible paths, the space records this circulation, and it responds with the same logic, reinforcing repetition or offering resistance to the new. The fluidity of energy within the home depends directly on the clarity with which the body can move. Obstructed paths, narrow passages, cluttered hallways, furniture that hinders the flow. All of this blocks the circulation of vital energy. The body feels the pause. The mind slows down, but without rest. A feeling of slight pressure arises, as if something were preventing expansion. The house tightens, and this pressure translates into irritation, anxiety, lack of focus, and fatigue. On the other hand, when the paths are open, free, and well distributed, the body walks with presence. Energy flows smoothly. The mind responds clearly. Emotions are reorganized. The house becomes a fluid circuit. You start to walk with more rhythm, with more direction, with more intention. Each step becomes conscious. The environment stops pushing or holding you back and starts to collaborate with your presence. Observing the way you move through the rooms of your house allows you to identify where you are, repeating yourself without realizing it. There are movements that become automatic. The detour you take every day to avoid bumping into that badly positioned chair. The path you avoid because it passes through a dark, disorganized corner, or one full of stationary objects. The body registers these paths as a pattern, and the mind shapes its behavior around them. This reveals areas of resistance, points of disconnection, places where your energy does not fully settle. There are also places in the house where you always rush past, without stopping, even when the environment invites you to do otherwise. Spaces that could offer a break, a breath, a slower observation, but that have been conditioned to rush. These places absorb this rhythm and begin to vibrate at a frequency of urgency. You feel like you need to run, even without a reason. You walk faster, you speak louder, you think faster, and the home, which should balance you, begins to reflect this accelerated state as the norm. Reorganizing the way you move around your home is a key point in harmonizing the energy of the environment. It is not enough to have a beautiful home. You need to have a home that allows you to move with meaning, where your body expands instead of shrinks, where your walk is fluid, aligned with how you want to live, and not just an automatic repetition of routes that no longer make sense. The arrangement of furniture, the width of hallways, the way doors open and close, all of this builds or destroys the quality of the energy flow in your home. When you start to adjust these pathways, something changes immediately. Your body notices the difference. Your breathing lengthens, your posture straightens, your thoughts gain space. You feel like you can occupy the space more fully. The field around you aligns, your energy finds continuity, and each step becomes a gesture of connection with the present. This process also triggers a new awareness of how you conduct your own energy in your daily life. Moving around the space is no longer distracting and becomes a silent ritual of presence. Walking around the house becomes an exercise in feeling, in noticing where there are blockages, where there is lightness, where there is still something to be reorganized. The space becomes a living mirror of your way of being, and each new configuration of circulation brings with it a new internal narrative. From this point on, it is possible to create purposeful paths, movements that lead you from one emotional state to another, passages that serve as transition rituals, from work to rest, from introspection to action, from distraction to focus. The house becomes an ally in your own emotional rhythm. It leads, it guides, it supports you in walking with awareness, and you feel, with each coming and going, that this home has already learned to walk with you. This dance between body and space never stops. It evolves, refines, deepens. Each step is a conversation with the energy of the place. Each change of direction is a vibrational choice, and everything that comes next reveals how these daily routes you take are, in fact, silently writing the story of your vibration. Because the path within your home is also the path within yourself, and the next movement begins with this listening. ChatGPT said, "Every house holds secrets that we are not always ready to see, but they are there. In the corners we fail to look at, in the drawers we avoid opening, in the choices we postpone, every day. And when we begin to observe with more presence, we realize what previously seemed invisible. The home accurately mirrors what is happening inside us. A stagnant environment reveals areas of life that have stopped evolving. A forgotten room reveals feelings that have been shelved. The house shows, with delicacy and firmness at the same time, where our soul stopped moving. Throughout this video, you felt that the energy in your home is already transforming. Each room spoke, each detail revealed itself, and the movement began, from the physical to the emotional, from the environment to within you. Now leave this recorded here in the comments with a sentence that conveys your truth. What did your home show you today? And what are you ready to transform? And take the opportunity to also suggest a theme that you would like to see in the next videos. This space is made for you and with you, and each of your ideas feeds this community of people who choose to live more consciously. Taking care of the energy in your environment is an act of self-love. Liking this video is more than just a way of giving back. It's a way of saying that this content touched you, awakened you, and moved you. It's also a gesture that makes this message reach more people. People who, like you, are ready to look at their own home with more attentive, more truthful, more connected eyes. And since this transformation is underway, be a part of our community by being present. Subscribe to to the channel and activate notifications to receive content that further deepens this process of reconnecting yourself and the space where you live. Here, each video delivers more than ideas. It provides direction, clarity, and practical tools to create an environment that embraces your essence and reflects your best self. And when you're done here, leave the previous video open. The next step awaits you, and the energy you began to reorganize today will find even more strength and meaning in what comes next. Because each layer you access, each insight you integrate, brings your home even closer to what it was born to be, a field of balance, protection, and expansion. Deep gratitude for being here, for allowing this message to enter your home and touch your energy. Your presence strengthens this channel, and each comment, each like, each new subscriber builds a collective home where consciousness and well-being meet truth. And never forget, your home is an extension of your balance. Take care of it, and it will take care of you.